Hi guys, and welcome to a new book review. So today I'm going to be buddy reviewing The Murder of Roger Ackroyd by Agatha Christie. So it's a read that I did with Rishika, so probably she is going to have her video updated, like uploaded at the same time. So you can also go and check her out when you're done with me. don't leave just now. Anyway, so there's probably going to be spoilers because The Murder of Roger Ackroyd is one of the Agatha Christie books that I couldn't read. So I think I started already 3 times on it and I never finished it, basically. Once it was because I was reading it at my grandmother and I didn't finish before I had to leave, and then I completely forgot about it. Second time I picked it up at the library and I had to give it back and I barely started on it. And apparently there was a queue for it, so I couldn't retake it. And then I forgot about it. The other time I started and I didn't really like it, and I was like, yeah, I read that before and it's boring, that's why I didn't finish. Anyway, so apparently this book is the best Agatha Christie book that you can read. So I really definitely had to read it. It's on some list, 1001, is it this one? I don't know, I have so many lists. So it's one, I think it's the 1001 book you should read before you die or something. Yeah, there are many of those, so I don't know which one. Anyway, so, but it's the only Agatha Christie book on this list, as far as I remember. And I was wondering why, because that's a book I can't read, right? So I was thinking, okay, why the hell is it the only one? And so I definitely had to read it because I wanted to know if it's that good. If it was just me not being in the right mood to read it when I started before. So of course I picked it up and I read it, and yeah, I have to agree, it's pretty badass. So that's the 4th book in the Hercule Poirot series, but the thing is, you don't have to read all the Hercule Poirot books in order, because even if it's the same Hercule Poirot character all around, you just see him solve different murders that are mostly not connected with each other, so you can read the series in any kind of order that you want. So yeah, definitely not my 4th Hercule Poirot book, I read a lot more of that. So in this book you start with seeing a suicide. And when you see the suicide, I'm like, oh no, that's probably not a suicide because it's a crime detective novel about a murder story, so it's gotta be not a suicide. It was a suicide. So you have this sort of, is it a suicide kind of thing? And I think whatever you read, if you read a crime book, you're gonna have that feeling. I have that feeling all the time. Like if you see suicide, like, is it really? Are you sure? Are you not just saying that to mislead me? No, actually she didn't need to mislead you about that. It's just mind-blowing. This book is mind-blowing. So Agatha Christie's books are really difficult to go through and figure out before you finish. Yeah, you have to go to the end before you can actually know who the murderer is. And that's not that it's rare, but in a lot of books you know before the end. So many times you can guess who is the bad guy, but in this one, no way. So you start with that suicide, and the doctor is there, and the doctor is going to be the narrator, and the doctor is following the detective. His neighbor is actually a detective called Hercule Poirot, who is Belgian and who is Agatha Christie's most famous detective with Miss Marple. I think Hercule Poirot is most famous. Anyway, so this Hercule Poirot guy knew the victim. Okay, flashback. Suicide, doctor is there, sees the suicide, and then he's invited to dinner to a guy who actually get murdered. Then he meets his neighbor, and the neighbor knew the victim, and the niece of the victim decide to hire Hercule Poirot to find a solution. Even though he's retired, he agrees, and then he's going to help the police, or kind of go around the police to solve the mystery. That's basically what happens very, very often, and Hercule Poirot has his own techniques to solve the mystery. Basically, he's going to follow clues that the police normally don't see. He's going to take into account small details that the police normally can't figure out why it's important, and he's going to use the psychology of the characters to understand what they actually did and why they did it. So you have all that going on, and so you're with a doctor, because the doctor is actually the guy who is narrating the story for you and looking at Poirot from, well, a brand new angle. Oh, that guy is pretty funny, he's doing that, he's doing that, he's doing that, he told me to do this, that, blah blah blah. And so you go around and you meet all the characters. So you have the sister-in-law of the murder guy, you have his niece, they both get money when he died, basically. You have his son, adopted son, who actually disappeared. You have the maid, you have two guests that are staying at the guy who died, who don't actually get anything from his death. Like, one gets 500, I don't know, pounds, that's the currency they have at the time, I don't know. Anyway, so it's kind of take him out of his death, but yeah. So Poirot kind of try to figure out who did it, why they did it, how they did it, and the police is convinced that it's the stepson, like the son's adopted son, because he disappeared. So Poirot is like wondering where he is and how to find him, and he goes around and asks people questions, and he's like, yeah, and like he's putting everything together, and you can't figure out why or like how the murder actually happened. So you have all those clues going around, and Poirot, like a lot of people don't actually believe that he's doing anything worthy, because like he has a totally different approach than the police, and he's just going around, walking around, asking questions that apparently make no sense, just to sort of teach people how to tell the truth, basically, because he says that everybody is having a secret. So he actually gathers a character once and he said, okay, you all in this room have a secret, so you better come up and tell me what your secret is. And of course they all deny it, right? Because hey, they don't think it's important to solve the murder, but it actually is, and it's something still disconnected to the murder. So they all actually come clean in different ways. And so you have like the first time frame that you thought like you thought the guy was murdered at some point, and actually like that kind of breakdown. And Hercule Poirot is still showing that to the police. Okay, we thought he was murdered then, but this girl did that, so he couldn't have been murdered, he was murdered before that. Like the last person who saw the guy actually didn't see the guy, so yeah. That makes it maybe he was dead before the time when she said she saw him. So you have all the things, and the police still can't figure out what's going on. And Poirot investigates different parts of the story, and he finds little details that everybody would miss. Like he finds a little bit of a handkerchief, and he finds, what is that? Some powder. So you wonder, okay, he believes that some people have been in that house, but we don't know which one. So, and it all comes together very nicely. And yeah, so he and Poirot at the end of the book, actually what's going on is normally when Poirot gathers all the people at the end of the book, he's telling them exactly who is the guilty party and he's arrested. In this book he doesn't. He gathers all the people, and maybe I shouldn't tell you that, But he kind of does the same, but actually he doesn't. But yeah, so we always have this scene where he's going to explain to everyone what happened, and so he say like, okay, I know one of you did it, and I'm gonna tell the police tomorrow. So at that point, you're still on your toes. Does he know, or is he just trying to get the murderer to go after him? Because he pretends that he knows, just to find the murderer. So you're still on your toes, but you should know Poirot better and know that he actually really knows who did it, and he's going to prove it to you. And that's it! So guys, that book is really awesome. Like Agatha Christie, like in some of the books by Agatha Christie, you read them, you have this Poirot thing coming up at the end, and you sort of, even if you don't know who did it, the person who did it doesn't come to you as a surprise. Like, the person is on your radar. You're like, oh yeah, that guy definitely could have done it, and you actually see how he could have done it. And you don't need Poirot explanations that much. You're like, yeah, okay, that's the explanation, how he did it, why he did it, whatever. But you're still, you know, it's plausible for you, it's something you could have summed up, you sort of summed it up in a way before. You're like, yeah, he was in your list of possible murderer. In this book, no, you have no idea whatsoever who the guy is before the end. Is it possible that if you pay very much attention to everything that happens, yeah, if you're a little bit twisted and you pay real attention to everything that happens, there is a possibility that you're going to guess who did it. But you gotta be twisted a little bit. Like, yeah, that's pretty mind-blowing. And yeah, that's the ending. Just, I was like, so yeah, he's gathering everybody, we're gonna know who it is. And then I'm like, what? I lost my voice. No way! Like, what the hell? Like, oh, yeah, totally. Like, how did that happen? How could I not know? How can I not see? Tu ne t'es pas servi de tes petites cellules grises. C'est pour ça. Yeah, Poirot also used French, which is pretty cool. Like, because he's Belgian, so he's using like some French words, or he's like using some strange English sometimes, which is pretty cool. Anyway guys, so I would totally definitely recommend that you read a book. I think I actually watched the movie before reading, because I watched all of the Poirot series, like the Old English Poirot series, and all the I think it's called Agatha Christie's Poirot series. So I watched all of that, so probably The Murder of Roge Ackroyd was in it, and I think I actually watched that. But even after watching it, and maybe not remember it completely, but like when I read the book I was like, no way! Yeah. So you should go and check that book out if you haven't yet. I haven't spoiled it so much, I guess. Maybe a little bit? Anyway. So, don't forget to subscribe and to leave me your comment below. Have you read it? Who is your favorite Agatha Christie character? What is your favorite Agatha Christie book? I want to know, so leave it in the description below, in the comment section below. And see you next time for something else. Have fun whenever you read. Bye!